So, International Women's Day was celebrated on Sunday, and the theme this year is a really good one. It's called Give to Gain. But what does that mean for you? How does it affect the way that you work? Let's unpack it. Great careers aren't built in the big moments alone. They're built in everyday choices, bold little moves, and gutsy next steps. Welcome to Little Moves, Big Careers. Let's dive straight in. Hello. Welcome back to Little Moves, Big Careers. I'm Caroline Esterson, your host, and this is the show for ambitious young professionals to help them focus and take little moves that could, just could, make a big difference to their careers and others too. So if your organisation celebrates International Women's Day by putting up a nice post, doing a panel, and, well, then just returning to normal on Monday, you haven't really celebrated anything, have you? You're just paying lip service to equity. So today in the show, we're going to explore exactly what to do, not just what to believe. I'm going to give you 4 concrete gifts that change careers. You can learn how to spot your blind spots fast through a simple Give Audit. And you're going to explore a bit more deeply with the science behind what stops you from doing all of this naturally. Give to Gain is not a be nice to women thing. It's leaders actively giving the things that change careers, and in doing so, the byproduct, of course, is higher performance. So frankly, it's just a real win-win for everybody to focus on this. And today is for managers, senior leaders, and anyone who influences progression, formally or informally. Because if you are in a position of power, I support equality is not a personality trait. It's a practice, a pattern. It's your choices. Let's dig in. When people think of the word fairness, the natural thing is to think about things like pay gaps, policies, grand initiatives. But careers are usually won and lost in much smaller, simpler places. And you know what? Here's the thing. We often use a hammer to crack a nut. Organisations have to invest and launch the shiny big initiatives because the basics aren't happening in the day-to-day. And that's where I want to focus our attention today. So what are the day-to-day basics then, I hear you ask? Well, let me tell you. Firstly, credit. Who gets seen as the thinker? Who gets remembered? If someone else repeats your idea and gets the nod, that's really not a small thing. That's someone's reputation being reassigned. 2, airtime. Whose voice lands? Whose voice has to audition 3 times before it's heard? If one person speaks once and it's accepted, while another gets questioned to death, you're watching confidence cues get rewarded over contribution. 3, access. Who gets invited in before the decision is made? Because, let's be honest, by the time the meeting has happened, the direction is often already half set, and the people who weren't in the early chat are basically reacting, not shaping. But access is more than that. Access is about who gets access to support, to thinking, to guidance, and, most crucially, to information. 4, opportunity. Who gets the stretch work with visibility and not just the extra workload? Because the right opportunity starts to build a leadership story, whereas the wrong one, well, frankly, it just builds resentment and late nights. And lastly, here's the one many leaders actually forget in the busyness of their world: protection. If you give someone a stretch project without time, air cover, and boundaries, it's not development, is it? It's leading to burnout. Now, leaders give these things out freely every week, sometimes deliberately, sometimes just by accident. And you know what? Sometimes, if we're really honest, only to the people who feel familiar to them. And then we call the results merit. Nah, it doesn't work like that. You've just built a system where the already visible become more visible, and the quietly brilliant ones get stuck just doing the invisible work. Give to gain is something deeper. It means you give the inputs that create fairer outcomes. And you know what? In return, you get better performance, better retention, and a better leadership pipeline. What's not to love about that? So if you manage people, let's do an audit right now. Stop what you're doing and just take a minute. No guilt, no drama, just the truth. We're talking about over the last month. So in the last 30 days, who did you give credit to? Publicly, clearly, and in writing? Anyone? What about access? Have you given someone an invite, an introduction, a seat at the right table, additional information? Number 3, opportunity. Who have you given stretch work to? And that work has to have visibility and ownership as well. And number 4, who have you been protecting through giving them the right amount of time, boundaries, and cover when it got a bit political? Now ask yourself, are you giving these things based on potential and performance or based on familiarity and convenience? Because the reliable one often becomes the one you overlook, and the confident one becomes the one you promote. That's not leadership. That's a default setting. And if you're listening thinking, Caro, I don't manage anybody, this still applies, because here's your version. In the last 30 days, when did you receive these things? When did you feel properly credited, properly included, properly backed, and properly developed? If the answer is rarely, don't just stew in it. Ask for it specifically. Try these. If you want credit, ask, can we make sure we capture ownership of that piece of work when we share it wider, please? If it's access you want, then ask, if there's a pre-chart on this, I'd love to be in on it. I've got some useful context that might be valuable. If you're getting a bit bored and want more opportunity, ask, I'm ready for a stretch that's visible. What's one project I can own in the next month? And finally, if you're feeling a bit vulnerable and need protection, ask, if I take this on, I need cover on X. Can we agree what gets deprioritized, please? That's not being needy. That's being intentional. And you're more likely to be able to perform on that basis.
Time for brain food, the research bit, but make it cheeky.
Because we all love evidence, especially when it supports our own experiences. All right, let's do a quick bit of brain stuff here, because this is where leaders usually go wrong without even realizing it. So I just want to raise it into your consciousness. Most managers aren't waking up thinking, how could I be unfair today? They're waking up thinking, how do I get through this day without needing a lie down and a new identity? And that's the problem, isn't it? Because when your brain is under pressure, busy, tired, and overloaded, it doesn't become more thoughtful. It becomes more automatic and it defaults to shortcuts. What feels familiar? What feels safe? Who feels easy? And who feels low risk? And that is how inequality gets reinforced, not through villainy, just through autopilot. And here are 3 brain habits that quietly tip the scales. Number 1, familiarity gets mistaken for competence. Your brain likes what it recognizes. So if someone speaks in a way you're used to, has a vibe you've seen succeed before, or feels socially a bit more like you, they can get a credibility boost before they've even finished the sentence. That's because your brain is a pattern matching machine and it wants to conserve energy. But it also means that leaders can end up giving the best opportunities to the people who already look ready, which is exactly how you end up with the same type of people staying visible, rising fast, and being seen as natural leaders. Number 2, you remember the loudest, not the best. And this one is a bit brutal. In fast-moving workplaces, managers often rely on what's most available to memory. Who spoke most in meetings? Who's quick to respond? Who's confidently wrong, but enthusiastically so? Who's always in the room? That's not best performance. That's high visibility behavior. So if you're a leader and you're not actively giving credit and spotlight to the people doing quieter, high value work, you will unconsciously reward volume over value. And I'm sure you don't want to do that. And number 3, when you're busy, you choose the safe pair of hands. Under pressure, managers assign stretch opportunities to the person they trust to deliver fast, which usually means the person who's had the opportunities before. So you get this loop going on. They get the big work, they get more visibility, they get more confidence. They become more obvious the next time a choice comes up, and everyone else gets development in the form of extra admin. And can you just? So give to gain is basically leadership with your brain switched on. It's encouraging you to challenge your unconscious bias. That's all. It's saying, I'm not going to let my stress pick favorites, because here's what you gain when you give deliberately. You get broader capability, not bottleneck. You get less dependency on a few people, better retention, especially of women and underrepresented talent, and a team that actually grows with you instead of a team that watches the same two people get all the daylight. And yeah, it takes intention, but so does every good thing in leadership.
It's time for What Would Caro Do? Like a career agony aunt, but with less cardigan and more fire.
Because sometimes you don't need permission, you just need better advice.
Hi, Auntie Caro. I had a bit of an oh crap moment. Someone told me they feel invisible on my team, and my first reaction was, that can't be right. I'm always saying thank you, but clearly that's not the same as being seen. What am I missing, and what do I change first?
Ooh, first of all, I want to thank you. Thank you for not doing what most people do in that moment, which is go straight into, well, that's not true because I'm a nice person. Because here's the thing, the fact that you say thank you tells me you're not a monster, but it also tells me you might be confusing gratitude with visibility and they're just not the same thing. A thank you is a compliment. A moment is a reputation. So create one for them. Create that moment and help build their reputation. Say their name, say the value, say the result where other people can hear it. For example, okay, I just want to do a quick pause here in the meeting. This work changed because of Maddie. She did X and it meant Y. Does that make sense?
This quote has the right vibe and the completely wrong advice.
So let's fix that before someone puts it on a mug. And here's this week's career quote crime that needs to be firmly put in the bin.
I treat everyone the same.
No, you don't. And if you did, it wouldn't be the noble thing to do. You think it is because the same in an unequal system just means the people who already have the advantage keep it. And the people who don't continue doing a heroic amount of swimming upstream. Fairness isn't sameness. Fairness is noticing where the current is stronger and adjusting your leadership so opportunity doesn't go to whoever floats best. It goes to the right person.
Small shifts, sharp impact. These are quick-fire career moves, real things you can do before your next coffee refill.
So as we lean towards the end of this episode, here are 3 little moves leaders can do this week. Move number 1, the credit habit. Once per meeting, deliberately credit someone whose work is usually absorbed into just what the team does. Number 2, the access swap. Invite one person into the early conversation who isn't normally there and notice what happens. Move 3, the opportunity rotation. Pick one stretch project and ask, who hasn't had this kind of opportunity yet, but feels that they could rise into it with support? That's leadership. That's talent development, and that is give to gain. So here's my International Women's Day challenges for leaders. In the next 24 hours, give one of these: credit in public, access before decisions, opportunity with visibility, clarity in writing. Then notice what you gain. I'm sure you'll start to see better contribution all round, better confidence, better performance, and better trust. The next episode is dropping on Thursday this week. It's the follow-through system that stops it just being a one-week campaign and turns give to gain into how you actually lead. Thank you for lending me your ears in this episode. I hope it helped you feel a little clearer. If it did, then hit subscribe, because in coming months, we'll keep exploring those messy, real leadership moments, things like connection, confidence, visibility, pressure, and everything in between. So until next time, make you move. even if it's tiny, especially if it's tiny.